Hello and welcome back to Şişecam Flat Glass India Presents Reflections. Today we have a very special guest joining in with us. But before that, I would like to give a little bit more information about Şişecam. So Şişecam is one of the largest glass producers across the world. And thank you so much Şişecam for giving me this opportunity to have conversation with Miss Manishi. So welcome ma'am, and how are you feeling about like having conversation today with Şişecam Flat Glass, and what are your thoughts on it?
I am honored to be here. I'm very happy to be having this conversation with you. It's a great opportunity to share and exchange ideas and thoughts and see where it takes us and how we are better at the end of it.
Yeah. So, ma'am, like you being an architect, like I would like to know what exactly like made you like come into this path, and what initially sparked, like that you came into this creative path.
I was very little
Okay.
when I happened to go to one of my aunt's place,
Okay.
my mommy, and she's a very hip, upmarket woman.
Mhm.
I always looked up to her as a very stylish, person. And on one of my visits, I saw she has a stack of magazines,
Okay.
and she would show, this different thing that she would see to a lot of different people in the room. She would share ideas that this is what I saw and see how beautiful it looks. And they were our industry magazines.
Okay.
And I picked up, one of them one time, and I was going through it, and I fell in love with the spaces. And I thought that I want to be creating these spaces. And I was very young. I was probably, I was 10, maybe 10, 11.
Okay.
And that's when I decided that I wanted to be an architect.
All right. And I'm sure that it was like, since you told me like you were 10 at that point of time, and then what made you like, like decide after a point of time that you want to take architecture as your career?
You mean to say after finishing my
Yes.
studies?
Yes.
All right. So there was a lot of people trying to tell me that how architecture is not meant for girls.
Okay.
And how we're not supposed to, it's a macho profession to be taken up by, you need to go to a lot of sites, etc., etc. But I believe the more people tried to persuade me not to take it up, the more I was decisive that I want to pursue it and enter this male dominant industry and make a mark for myself.
So that's really great. And like how long it's been for you into this particular industry and the architectural industry, and also would like to also know about your firm, that is Design Cosmos. Like when did you start and what made you start it?
Well, we started this in 2008. Me and my partner Apurv, we're the founding members of Design Cosmos. It's been close to 16 years now that we've given us our everything. And fortunately, right from when we started, we've been doing hardcore architecture, which is hard to get. Otherwise, when you're just starting out.
Right.
So we have been doing hardcore architecture since day one, and that's also been our forte.
Right. So also now, since we have started talking about Design Cosmos, so can you please tell me like any pivotal moment in your history, in your firm's history, that like marked a unique identity for the firm's like Design Cosmos?
I have an interesting story to share on this.
Okay.
So right when we were starting out, there's always a dearth of work. You're always looking for more work.
Yes.
And you're hungry, right?
Yeah.
So we went and met a lot of people after we left our comfortable jobs. And we would go and meet people. I remember this one particular client, we went to meet him. He was a developer. And what we hoped to get from him was a show apartment, let's say, because we thought that that's what he'd be comfortable working with new people.
Right.
We were pretty fresh, just out of college.
Yeah.
And we met him and we discussed the kind of work we've been doing in the offices that we were working with. And to our surprise, he said that I don't have small work to give you. Would you like to do a housing project? And I mean, I look back at that moment and I think that did he see something in us which we could not? But anyway, we said, yes, we'll work on a housing. He said, it's 18 acres. Would you be able to do it? I said, yes, of course, why not? He said, fine, give me a day or two to get back to you and I'll let you know. I thought that aise hi bol diya hoga, it's just something that he said and it's not something which he really means. But I followed up. And he said, yeah, come meet me again. I want to discuss something with you.
Hmm.
So we went to meet him again. He said that, look, I've given that 18 acres project to somebody else.
Hmm.
I have a new piece of land which I've just finalized. It's 40 acres. Would you be able to do it? and and I said, of course, why not? He said, okay, fine. I'm emailing the layouts to you and make the Excel of all the numbers, etc. That, how many apartments, what areas, what everything, and get back to us. We said, fine. We got out of the office. We had no clue about how to do any number crunching, right? This is the first time we were probably spelling housing,
Right.
like a residential group housing. And we, like one would guess, we started reaching out to a couple of people we knew in the industry, our seniors. We said, yeah, we've got this opportunity, but we have no idea. You have experience in this. Why can you guide us what to do? They said, if you have not done a housing, somebody could give you a 1 acre housing. If you have done 1 acre, they'll give you 5. If you've done 5, they'll probably give you 10, and so on. Whom are you kidding? Don't waste my time and don't waste yours. And just forget it, work on other people and other prospective clients, etc., etc. So long story short, we did that project. We got that project, and it's handed over now. 2,300 families are living in that complex. It's in Gurgaon. And I think that getting that project made us very confident and gave us the confidence rather, where, we realized that we have the potential. It was a typology we hadn't worked with at all. We were very young. I don't think people 22, 23 work on 40-acre projects in our country. That's not how it is probably. I'm not sure, maybe in anywhere in the world. But we got that opportunity and it gave us a lot of confidence and backing to sort of, then realize that we can do anything we put our heads to.
Absolutely.
And we learned...
somehow it has to start.
Exactly. And we learned a lot. To be honest, that project, we learned on the job. Everything that we had to do for that project, there were no blueprints we got. We come from both me and my partner. We don't have anybody in the family who's an architect. No mentors, no nothing. So we've learned everything on our own.
That's great. So yeah, that's what, like it has to start somewhere, and it started like with a great opportunity. So right now, like with Design Cosmos, like what is the structure? How do you guys work, and what are your relationship and terms with your employees?
All right. So it's me and my partner. Like I said, we are the fulcrums. And then we have team leaders in our organization, and then they have their teams under them. So we are about 10 to 15 people, varying depending on the work, etc., etc. So we're about a 12 to 15 member team. And there are team leaders with whom the initial discussion happens, and then they are able to take on the projects themselves.
So again, like now let's just talk about your go-to type of projects. Like what projects you enjoy working on?
Well, there are two typologies that we really enjoy. So one is, we've been talking about housings. I personally enjoy working on housings a lot. A lot of people don't understand that what's there in a housing to sort of because once you've designed and the layouts, there's not much one can do when you go vertical. There are limitations because areas are so important and so dear to the client that they won't let you waste a single square feet of FAR to create a marvelous building, let's say, So that said, housings, by doing housings, we are not designing for one family, we're designing for thousands of families. And we're able to impact their lives. And we try to impact their lives in the most positive way that we can. We're able to impact the way community spaces are made, the way families and social spaces and social gatherings happen, and the way they impact people's lives.
So I think it's a great opportunity anytime, because in nowadays housing complexes do have everything, and we don't have to go outside and too much of like in this places where exactly in this part of India where we do not have their own population. So housing is like its own society of its own, right? So what are your thoughts on doing why do you like doing residential? Like what are your thoughts on it?
So as I was saying, that one, it gives us an opportunity to design for very large scale of people, and it's very interesting to work out how not just the person who's residing in an apartment is using the space, but how everybody around them, let's say the working population, the staff you're going to have to be able to sustain a living, the drivers, the delivery boys, the traffic circulation, the movement, how the elderly are going to use this space, how the kids are going to use this space, and how people like you and me are going to step out in the morning and come back late at night, how we use this space. So that's a great opportunity. Plus also these housings are here to stay. You've done well, they're going to, you know, outlive definitely mine and my kids, you know, generations lifespan. So it's like, you know, there's a fun way where, you know, I call it my signature on earth. And you know, we've done this. So we started working in 2008. This first project I talked about, we've created like a Google Earth, you know, image of it, where what it was in 2008 and what it was in 2024. And it's so amazing to see how we've changed the landscape. And you know, you can't do that with smaller scale of projects. So that's why the sheer scale of it is, it's magnanimous and it's really enjoyable. So other than housings, the second typology that I was mentioning, which we really enjoy working on, is residential farmhouses. We've done a few in Delhi and Gurgaon. And they are, again, it's scaled down a lot from the housings, but there's amazing opportunity to, you know, create an environment where a person, so farmhouses are what? If you think about it, farmhouses and a farm living is what used to be everybody's life a couple of decades before today. Everybody used to stay in farmhouses, then everybody started staying in smaller houses and then apartments. And now whoever can afford it is going back to farmhouses. Because you want to have your own cattle, you want to have your own, you know, eggs in the morning, you want to grow your own vegetables. So this is, so creating that environment and getting that connect with the roots, with how we were earlier, that is also very enjoyable. The whole process of how we make that one large family create spaces for them so that they stay connected with their roots while giving them a certain lifestyle. That's also a very enjoyable process, and we enjoyed it.
Absolutely. So let's talk about functionality, aesthetics, and sustainability. So what are your takes on it, and also like how do you implement that in your work?
Let's first understand what they mean.
Absolutely.
So functionality, as the name suggests, it's something that makes a space functional, where you have to remember what needs to connect with what in terms of when a person is using this space. What is aesthetics? Aesthetics is something which, although it's subjective, what you find aesthetic might not appeal to me, might not appeal to them.
Absolutely.
But having said that, aesthetics means something that pleases the eye, which looks good, feels good. And now what is sustainability? Sustainability has got wide meanings, but to just make it simple, I would say sustainability is something that does not harm the planet.
Right.
So now how do we balance it? What takes priority while we're designing is functionality. Irrespective of what the space looks like, functionality cannot be compromised at any cost. I cannot make somebody enter their house through a bathroom and then go to the dresser and then reach the bedroom, and the kitchen cannot be very far away from the dining. So these are functional things that need to be taken care of. How one space needs to be connected with what, or how one texture on the wall is more functional than the other because of how you're going to maintain it. That's functionality. So that is of prime importance. I think aesthetics is a given. I mean, it's not something that I would really like to discuss a lot, for the fact that you have to design aesthetic spaces.
Of course.
You know, if somebody is hiring an architect or interior designer, they don't need to tell you that you have to design aesthetic spaces. So that's there. And sustainability is of paramount importance today. You know, our industry is something that has the highest carbon emissions, the carbon footprint, that we are depleting the natural resources. We need water, we need wood, we're using stone, we're mining the earth. So it's harming the planet a lot. So we need to choose wisely the materials. We need to see what brands to work with, because we need to have people who are more earth conscious, I would say. And not just the product, the process. So there are a lot of brands giving a lot of importance to zero discharge, a lot of importance to what they are doing with the waste material. There are brands which are using the material to the end, not leaving anything out, no residues, and the emissions. So that's what you need to do. That's how we choose our brands. We see who's more conscious.
All right. Yes. So right now in this project, I can see there's a lot of implementation of glasses in it.
Yes.
So today we are doing this conversation with Şişecam flat glass. So I would like to know, like, what are your thoughts on it, and how do you implement glasses into your projects?
I don't think I've done any project which doesn't have some amount of glass.
Right.
Exterior glass, of course, is a part of every project. And I'll break it into two parts, exterior and interior. So when we're talking about exterior glass, we like big windows. We like large fenestrations in our buildings so that we can get in as much natural light inside as possible. Because the way natural light impacts us human beings, there's nothing parallel to that. Because the way we feel in a space largely depends on how much natural light is able to penetrate inside. So if we're sitting in an apartment, if you see, there are very large windows in every space. Every room has large windows where they can step out and a lot of light can come in, and ventilation, of course. So that's about how exterior glass plays a very important role.
Right.
And if you talk about interiors, I think glass, one, the way we use it, it adds a lot of volume to a space. So whenever, let's say, a room is small, you use glass and it increases the room size to, let's say, double visually. That's how you feel this in spaces. And also it adds luxury, because it comes in with this certain sheen to it. And the way you see behind us, there's black glass. So if you make it colored, we like to make it colored. We feel it makes the space look nicer, more chic. That's how it interacts very well with the space if designed well.
All right. Can you share us some of your experience where you have had challenge in implementation of your glass into that particular project? Like, did you face any challenge with glasses till now in your career?
Not a challenge, but glass, I think, is become very flexible today. It has a lot of possibilities. Irrespective of my building's orientation, there are certain values which I can look at the U values, and I can look at the K values and design my glass and building in a way that it suits my requirement. And also in interiors, we've done beveled glass, we've done colored glass, we've done. There are so many typologies of glass today where if I don't want the glass to be see-through, I can go with let's say, a fluted glass or a crackle or a crinkled glass. There are so many typologies today that it's become very it's like we have a plethora of options available, depending on the kind of look we want to do. One time what happened, so we'd got this toughened glass at site and it broke. So you know how toughened glass is. It breaks and it doesn't crack. It becomes into these smaller pieces of glass. And we have, like we talked about sustainability, we didn't want to just throw it out to waste. We thought that how is it that we can actually use this glass that's broken? We couldn't use it for where it was for, but can we still use it in the project? So we were designing a corporate office. This is way back in 2012-13. And we broke the glass more into pieces, smaller pieces. So it became crushed glass. And it's still glass though, right? That's the property of glass. So we laid it on the floor and did like a flat glass on top of it. And people walk on it. That's like a dining space for the directors in a corporate office. And you feel like you're walking on stars because there's light underneath it as well. So we, made sure that we turned our challenge into an opportunity.
That's
and
great.
Create a beautiful space out of it.
So can we talk about the advancements that you can see, like in terms of glass and light, in the future of architecture?
Well, other than the typologies of glass and the variations we spoke about, I think the work is already happening on this bit, which is the transparent solar light integration, the solar power integration within the glass. And if this is accepted and implemented at a large scale, countries like ours, where there is abundance of sun, we need to harness the power and implement it and use it and then distribute it. So have a storage way. But the idea is that the technology is, I think it's still not cheap enough for people to accept and implement. If there's a government, push to something like this, then it can be incorporated at a large scale, because there is a lot of glass being used in our country. And if glass can generate power for us, where there are still, if you go to tier 2, forget tier 3 and 4 cities, there are power outages where there's no power for like days together. So we're very far behind in terms of our power generation requirement. So we can use this as an opportunity. And if work on this can be sort of, I think in a few years, you'll see this happening in the West and then slowly sort of penetrating inside our country as well.
Right. That was a really great session with you. And we will have to wrap up this conversation. But before that, we would like to also, would like to know that, do you have anything to say for the newcomers in this industry? Do you have any tips that you want to give it to them before they start their own, journey?
Of course. I think what's very important is to stay true to who you are.
Right.
And understand what you bring to the table. And how you can do that is by having your intentions at the right place. And be very sincere to what you are getting into. Understand that it takes your all and everything. You have to literally eat, sleep, breathe architecture, and be in love with it, because it's a hard profession, but it's really enjoyable if you are in it and if you give it your all.
Right. So at the end of this conversation, I would like to do a small rapid fire round with you, where we will just have 5 questions. Sure. And I would like to ask you that. So first question would be, if you weren't an architect, then what profession you would have chosen?
Wow. I love numbers. So maybe I would have been a CA.
You have been a CA?
Yes.
Okay. That's completely different.
Yes.
Yeah. So next question would be, what is that one design element that you never compromise on?
Functionality.
Great. Biggest challenge that you have faced working with glass?
I haven't faced a challenge. We've always been able to find out a solution for it.
All right. And what's your dream project? Anything which you may not have constructed?
Not a dream project, but I'm really looking forward to designing the Sky Hub, which is a club at 500 feet above the ground level.
Okay.
Here in this very project.
Okay.
And it's going to be iconic. You're sitting here in Gurgaon on the Golf Course Road, and on good, clear sky days, you're able to see the Qutub Minar from here.
Oh, yes. Great.
So I'm looking forward to do that.
Nice. So with this, I think we are done for the session. And I'm honored, and I thank you to take out your time and have this conversation with me with Şişecam. So do you have anything to say to the audience?
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, the conversation. And I don't know about you, but I have learned a few things from this conversation. And I would like to wish all the best to Şişecam and everybody watching. Go with your full heart and full intention into everything you do, irrespective of whether it's architecture, interior design, fashion design, or just being yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much to all of you to watch this episode. I'll come back with the next one soon. Till then, take care.